Welcome to the Freeside Co-op. Haven't seen your face around here before. You a newcomer in town? You'll know this place better than me then. I moved here only a few weeks back and it's been hard to settle in. Doesn't help when you're colloquially known as the NCR bitch. Don't worry about that though. That's just dumb idiots being dumb idiots. They'll accept this place in time. Well, I'd like to think so anyway. Now, is there anything I can get you? It's a store my father and I set up. We provide an outlet for the goods of local Vegas farmers. It's a win-win situation. We get paid and the farmers get access to a much larger customer base both in Vegas and back home in the NCR. The farmers wouldn't be able to get their produce anywhere near as far without us. Try explaining that to them, though. They'll just end up grumbling about how we're eating into their profits, the profits we help them get. So, if you know anyone reasonable who's looking to sell produce, tell them all about the co-op. If you're wondering what exactly you can buy, it's fresh produce straight from the farm. We also sell all manner of pre-war food. Now, with all that said, is there anything I can get you? Well, it's no secret I'm from the Republic. My dad and I deal with a lot of local farmers, so the name Hawthorne is well known around these parts. Doesn't help when the Kings are riling people up, blaming us NCR folk for Freeside's problems. If it's an omelet you're wanting, it'll only be 5 minutes. God, no. When I first thought about moving out to the frontier, I was expecting excitement, adventure. Instead, it mostly just smells of piss and disappointment, although that may just be the locals. Got a word of advice for you, stranger. Watch your caps out there, especially near Mick and Ralph's. Pickpockets everywhere. Nobody would stand for that back home in the Republic. NCR police would sort them out quick. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror if that were me. No matter where you go in the wasteland, there's always some scumbags who can't take to an honest living. People like me, you, and Roy are what people should be looking up to out there. Too many people depended on those hippies over at the old fort. This place could be a lot better if people were actually willing to put some effort in. Can't say I agree with you, stranger. You might not lead a fulfilling life, but perhaps you want a fulfilling meal instead. Sure do. Got plenty of problems around here that I can't take care of on account of having to work behind the counter. I'm needing someone who knows their way around a gun. I'd normally just use Roy, but I need him around to make sure I'm not held at gunpoint again. Can tell you more if you're interested. So, what do you say? Yeah. A couple of days ago was business as usual when all of a sudden a gang comes in and kicks the front door in, nearly taking it off its hinges. They were screaming at the top of their lungs, demanding I give them all the caps in the register. It shook me up a little, as it would anyone, but my pa taught me how to use a shotgun back on the ranch, so I bided my time. I hear the ringleader tell me to get out of town or I'd be leaving it in a body bag. My pa taught me not to let anyone threaten me that way. So, on their way out, I took a shot at one of them. Didn't hit the bastard clean enough, they managed to get away. I thought maybe the Kings would have come running to help with the gunshots so close by, but maybe they just don't care. Bastards. Those thieves managed to get away with my entire day's profits. I can't do without that money, I'm afraid. The job is to track them down and get my money back. There's a good share of the profits in it for you. Now, do you have any questions? Guess he got lucky, or my aim is just shit. Strange world we live in. I heard on the radio that some courier survived getting shot in the head in Good Springs. Maybe it's the same person. He was out to lunch down at the Wrangler at the time. He's sweet on one of the escorts down there. Poor guy. Hasn't got the courage to just go and ask her out. There was a group of them. Ringleader seemed to be an older fella. The others seemed to look up to him. There were 2 women and 2 other guys with them. Seemed like a cobbled together bunch. Maybe they were all a gang. I don't have the spare caps, I'm afraid. Only got enough to hire an extra mercenary, and guess who that is? I guess I could go ask my pa for help, but I know what he's like. He worries too much, and I can handle this myself. So, yeah, you'll have to deal with this little problem for me. I've got a decent idea of where you should start, but there's one more thing you should know first. You're not the first merc I've sent on this job. Hired another armed merc, decent price too. Went by the name of Frank Adams, local around here. I never pegged him to be a tough guy, but I guess you've got to be to survive out there on a diet of radroach meat. Always seemed like a fairly quiet kid, but I guess people can surprise you. For example, who knew I'd be in business in my late 20s? When Frank heard about the robbery, he offered to investigate as long as I could pay him well. Naive young kid undercut himself, I think. Either way, I'm not one for complaining when I get a good deal. I'm starting to think it might have been him that robbed me, and he's came back for a double dip. Kid was always dirt poor. Either way, I think he's our best lead. You might want to start by talking to his drunken ass of a friend, Billy. He can be found at the Atomic Wrangler, most likely crawling on the floor drunk. Watch yourself there. I swear the car dealer's cheating that dump. Anyway, you need anything else before you go? Sure thing. I can tell you what I know. What exactly do you want to know about? It's a cheap knockoff of those Vegas casinos. Most people who don't meet the cap requirements those bots ask for end up there. Put it this way, I'd love access to the Garrett twins' safe. Think that'd make me a very rich woman. They're the biggest gang in town. People around here seem to think they're good for the community. What, do they forget they need to pay that pretty boy by the water pump every time they want a drink? Anywhere else, they call that extortion. Anyway, enough about those jokers. What else can I do for you? It's owned by the Van Graffs. They're a powerful family from New Reno. Not to be messed with. They sell powerful energy weapons, so if you're looking for something exotic, then the Silver Rush is your best bet. Just make sure you keep your mouth shut, especially near Jean-Baptiste. Don't think I've heard anything good about that man. Okay, what do you want to talk about? Come back soon now. Welcome back. At this rate, you'll be a regular. What can I get you? A street gang? Sounds like a good lead. While you were away, I did some digging and heard about a couple of people who've been robbed recently. The Crimson Caravan's been hit a few times recently. I also heard Cassidy Caravans and a few other smaller players got burned to a crisp too. I also remember Pa saying before I left that some of our caravans had been attacked coming and going from our ranches. Not sure which of the attacks are related, if any. Could be one big coincidence, but I'm starting to have my doubts. I wonder if there's a pattern. Definitely something to think about. Oh well, all that matters is that we catch the bastards. I want my caps back. Did you manage to overhear the name of the gang or anything that could help us? Any clue could help us catch them. Well, that's way lamer than I expected. Normally, raider gangs call themselves something intimidating, and I'm just left feeling kind of indifferent. There's duds in every avenue of life, I guess. Anyway, I recommend you go speak to Jackie over at the old Mormon fort. She's one of those hippies. The way I heard it, she's got some contacts in some gangs in Vegas. She's helped a few fiends rehabilitate. Either way, we need that old bat. Chat her up and see if you can learn anything about the vultures. You got any questions? As I said, she's one of the followers. Those kind of types pretend they're holier than thou, but they're human like the rest of us. But there's that old saying that never seems to disappear. I'll scratch your back and you scratch mine. Do her a favor and I'm sure she'll tell you what we want to know. Could also try sweet talking her, or maybe she keeps a diary. I don't know. Either way, I'm sure you'll figure it out. Just try not to start any fights. I don't want that associated with my brand. Any other questions? The only thing I can tell you is they must be small time. I've heard of most gangs in Vegas. You got the Kings, the Scorpions. You've also got those bastard fiends. Drugged out wackos. Never heard of the vultures, though. Gotta say, that's a new one for me. Any other questions? My father is quite a powerful man. He's won quite a few big business deals and has a fair few ranches in his name. There's probably quite a few people jealous of our family, but honestly, that's just a guess. Who knows what these vultures want? Maybe there's a question you have that I can actually answer. Poor kid. Hope he's alright. Doesn't deserve this. Although he did sign up for a job, so he must have known what to expect. Don't worry about him. Your main focus should be getting my caps back. We'll cross the Frank Bridge when it comes to it. Any other questions? Good. Go and see what that old bat knows then. Come back soon now.